It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Wind Scent Vapor Hunting Scents,
Killer Food Plots Seeds, Supplements, and Attractants,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Antler Action,
Family Tradition Tree Stands,
and Badass Slingshots.
Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. I'm host Mike Adams, sitting back in the cabin after the opening week of deer season here in Michigan.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
2 nice bucks down.
Yep.
I wish I could say the same thing, but
it's been a dry spell.
Yeah, it's been a long dry spell.
4 years. 4 years.
For you?
For me.
Well, I shot doe last year. I shot 2 does the year before. 2013 and 2014 I didn't hunt because of what happened here at the house with house fire and tornado and everything. But the last buck I shot was 2012 with my bow. So,
you know, it was an interesting week up at the cabin.
Hey, Jason Radecki.
And so far we've gotten 3 bucks on the ground.
Okay. That
as of today we know of. I haven't heard any information from the guys that are still up there.
Camp for us this year, if you remember last year, we kind of went on a doe mission. You know, yes. We took 24 doe out of camp last year, trying to establish somewhat of a population control measure on our place.
Yep.
In surrounding area. 1 buck was shot. This year when I left after the 3rd day of camp, and I haven't heard anything today, which was day 4, 4 doe down, no bucks.
Still no bucks.
No, I only saw 3 bucks. And I mean, all of them were just quick glimpses on the move, real quick. But
really?
But we'll save that for later in the show. Hopefully we have time to talk about that tonight.
Why? Something else happened while we were gone?
Oh, well, you just saw a video that actually we just got called out for here on the Up North Journal.
We did. We're a joke.
Yeah, apparently to somebody who found a disliking with us siding with Michael Waddell's take on the outdoor industry. But somehow it got confused with the Chris Brackett mess that's going on right now. And this person actually asked me, I believe it was the same person, last week, asked me what our stance was on it. And first off, the outdoor industry's got a black eye again.
Absolutely.
Every time something like this happens, not only does the person who does something stupid suffer, we all suffer. We all suffer directly or indirectly because of what somebody else did and how viral it goes. And this one went pretty viral. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, just get on Facebook and talk to a few people about what happened with some video from Chris Brackett. And I didn't want to give my take on this because there's been enough people out there.
Everybody's got their take.
Lighten it up. And what is my take going to do? What side of the fence do I stand on? If what has been presented, if it's actually true, then he needs to feel the full weight of whatever laws he has broken and pay the fines, restitution, and whatever's coming to him is coming to him, just like anybody else.
And he admitted it.
He did admit it.
He admitted it, said I was wrong.
Yep.
And then, okay, so now face the consequences.
Face the consequences. Face the music, and that goes with the law. That goes with the people who used to watch your show or maybe still do, your fans. It also goes with your sponsors, of losing sponsorship. Well, you've got a responsibility to not only yourself, but the fans and your sponsors.
And that's what he did. He sent out the videos came out. Mm-hmm. He came out with an apology.
Yep.
And that's where it ended.
Yep.
Then Michael Waddell comes out with a statement about the hunting industry itself in general, mm-hmm. but also has a notation of Chris Brackett in it.
Yeah, he framed it around what happened because of what's been going on.
Exactly. And he even admitted in the video that him and Chris has not seen eye to eye before and almost came to blows. And like he said, he was the southern guy and Chris was the hard rock guy. And there's everybody's in this that can hunt is from A to Z.
Yeah, in full disclosure, we did interview him. We had him on the show.
That was a long time. That was
6 years ago, 7 years ago, maybe. It's been a long time.
Right. That was...
it's back when we were running a full team. And that would
So
have
that
been
was probably
2000
9 or 10.
somewhere around 8, 9, or 10. Yeah, 9, probably 2009, 2010, somewhere in there. But I don't get. I take personally what was said online because it associated me with sticking up for him and what happened. Number one, we see video. He admitted to what he did. So if he's admitting to it, then it's true. Then it did happen in Indiana. The only thing I can say is that was my first question. Is this in Indiana? What does the person who posted this, what is this rift between the two? And is he just saying it was Indiana?
Why does it come out that happened in 13, 14?
3-4 years later.
So that'd be 3-4 years later. Why did it come out now?
There's something that's going on behind the scenes. Now, the other video
We don't know.
with him cussing out and getting into it with the cameraman. Okay, religious views aside, I have my own religious views. I don't put them out here on the show. I hold them to between me and God himself. You know, you and I have had this talk before. This show is about hunting, fishing, the outdoors, getting kids involved, new people. That's what we do.
That's right.
He wants to put his out there. That's fine. That's his prerogative. If you want to judge him about what he did and what he said to somebody, that's your prerogative. I don't care.
That's right.
We don't know what happened before that. We don't know. Did that cameraman drop a $5,000 camera and break it right before that hunt? We don't know. We don't know what set up and led to that moment. And I'm not sticking up for Chris.
Right, exactly.
I'm just saying.
We don't know. We only know a moment in
time.
Whatever, how many minutes that video was.
Yeah, it was a short clip.
That rant.
Yep.
We don't know the beginning of it, and we don't know the ending of it. We don't know what happened either.
Yeah.
After they might have slapped high fives and said, hey, that was the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
But we don't know. And
don't know.
Why should we go out and judge them? Like you said, what we take offense to is being called out that, well, I'll take the last line of this as UNJ's a joke.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why we try to go to Cabela's as often as we can. And, we try to talk to people.
And educate them in the outdoors.
Educate them about outdoors. And when somebody new comes up, we don't push them aside. We don't, no.
Take time with kids, take photographs, give them high fives.
We listen to their stories.
Listen to it. When's the last time anybody sat and had a kid sit on their knee and listen to a story about a hunting story where their grandpa took them, or a fishing trip? And it may have been a little bluegill, but the point is, take the time and sit there and listen to somebody.
Exactly.
That's not a joke.
And that's exactly what Waddell says about the hunting industry.
Yeah.
Basically, it comes down to, guess what, everybody? We put our pants on the same way as everybody else does. Mm-hmm. Sometimes right, left, sometimes left leg first. Whichever, but you put your pants on first, leg at a time.
I think you guys in the UP put yours on left leg
No,
first.
actually what we do is we stand on the top bunk.
And you jump into them?
And we jump into them.
Do you hit the light switch on the way down? That's for a past episode.
Right. So
see, hey, we're joking, so he must be a joke.
Exactly. And he is for all intents and purposes dead on.
Yeah.
He goes. We go out and we do what we do, but also we go out, we do what we do. We hang out at Cabela's. We hang out at any shows we go to. We take the time to be with and guess what? I'll be the first to admit that when we had this at Cabela's, where a gentleman came in and kind of schooled us on what he did.
Yeah.
And said,
I learned stuff.
I'm all for that. So calling us a joke, that you're going to hear it.
Yeah. Oh, well.
That one thing is just is reality. And don't put yourself above reality. And the reality is we're losing hunters. And we can't afford to lose hunters.
And fishermen, people in the kids in the outdoors.
Well, outdoors people.
You know what? Prime example, this weekend I was sitting at deer camp. And one evening, I don't know if I think it's the first evening, maybe it was the night before the opener. And me and one of the guys at camp, one of our newer guys there, started talking about it. And he said, that's the problem. He said, we're not going to have kids up here, our kids up here, if we don't get them up here and get them outside before they want to get on their phones or tablets or whatever. He said, all these kids want to do is sit and be instantly gratified off the computer. And he said, it's hard when and we were talking, and it kind of led into deer management. We're talking about, we got too many deer on the property. We're overbrowsed. We don't have enough food for them. And all those dynamics. And he's like, well, but if we start taking deer off the property and we're not seeing as many every time we set out, he said, we're not going to keep the kids engaged. And I'm like, you know what? That's where you start them young and you teach them from a young age and get them into the outdoors. Get them out in there into the soil, help them with a food plot, picking up sticks and clearing a field, or maybe going out squirrel hunting and teaching them about the differences of the animals and how they interact with one another. Why are we cutting this tree down? What's wrong with it, Pawpaw? Because it's got a disease. We need to take care of it. There's more to hunting than pulling the trigger on a stinking animal. Exactly. Or setting the hook on one.
Exactly. And a lot of it goes to the times you don't see a thing.
That was me this week.
You if you're sitting with somebody or with somebody, take those opportune times to be with that person. I've seen a lot of posts about I miss my dad hunting and matter of fact, this popped up on my memories thing on Facebook 4 years ago today when I shot my 6 point. My dad was at camp. Right? So it's like that 6 point that I got is probably the best 6 point, best deer I'll ever get. How that all just worked out.
It'll be with you until the day you pass.
Because he helped me gut it. He did everything. But it's just one of those moments in time that's a memory. And that's what we make memories. And then you go ahead and you share those with around the campfire. Just like you guys did it's what we did. So then we take that and we go from there. We go into the stores. We go into wherever even when we're out hunting. I was out turkey hunting this year. Talked to a first time hunter. Him and his the person with him both got jakes. I passed on the jakes and they just went down to his side of the field and they got them. But it was all right. I'm okay with that. I'm not throwing my gun into the woods screaming, what did you do that for? No. Hey,
it's all good.
It's all good.
So, we're talking about the video from Waddell. Go to our page or just Google it, on Facebook and watch. It's 20 minutes. But I tell you, there's so many nuggets in that 20 minutes. We're sitting here and I'm like, yep, see, yep. Because you can relate to it. I mean, things throughout my life that my grandfather taught me, that my dad taught me, now that I taught my kids, and now that I'm going to be teaching my grandson at some point. Like you said, people in the stores, or things you learn going to workshops and learning these things so you can educate yourself to be able to be better out in the field and give back. It ain't about what you take, it's about what you give back.
Right. And tell you the truth, this year, I put the most time into the property this year, and I was fortunate enough to take $2 this year. So it was like, at the end of the year so far, I'm feeling pretty good about myself. My hard work
paid off. Yep. It's the reward you get for the work you put in, and you don't always get those rewards.
Right. And now, so now let's take that on. There's a person up at camp right now. He's looking to get his first buck.
Right on.
And he's got the combo tag, so he has to shoot something 3 or better.
Okay.
On a side. He doesn't have a regular, which is fine. But we talked to him. I said, okay, we are sitting over this plot of land. Yep. Okay. Let's adjust your blind. I tried to help him out. I said, adjust here, do this. And he was sticking out. I said, we can put you in a different spot. There's other spots we're seeing deer.
Right.
It's not like we've seen a 5 point. But we're trying to help him get his first buck.
To get to that point where he can enjoy that.
Right. Yep. Exactly. Because once you get your first one, that's like setting the hook.
Yep.
And there was a lot of years I went without before I even got a deer at all. And then I finally got a doe. Okay, it wasn't not that big of a doe, but
you got one.
I got one.
Yeah.
And but it's like we're helping him, and I hope he's going to be up there for the rest of this week. So I hope he ends up getting one. And he's toughing it out on this 40 that he's gonna get a buck to come through. And I said, you'll probably get a traveler right now coming through. They're kind of chasing, they're not kind of chasing. It's one of those deals. But yeah, that was after I got my deer, my first one. I was more worried about where he was sitting, and said, okay, let's get him a deer.
Right. Your focus changed. You're thinking about other people. Like you said, you put in the hard work. You were able to reap those rewards, and then as soon as you do, boom, you're trying to help somebody else.
Right, exactly. And that's the give part.
And that's kind of where I was at. At camp, talking and sharing information with people in our own camp. It's like, okay, well, I seen this or I seen that. No, I didn't see that one. Have you thought about this? Have you tried that? Different things, different strategies, because we were in the same situation up there. Nobody was seeing anything. It was horrible.
You had some interesting weather.
It rained all day opening day. I tell you what, we're running up on our first break here. We'll come back. I want to wrap up this talk about all this stuff going on in the outdoors on Facebook page right now. Let's wrap that up, and then we'll come back. We got time. We'll try to wrap up and talk about our season. So we'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve Cam System, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Welcome back. Second segment of the show. Let's kind of wrap this thing up. I don't want to sit here and talk about this whole show because right now I'm really angry. I take things personally, and I shouldn't, because I know I don't agree with everybody's hunting style out there. They don't agree with mine. But I tend to wear my heart on my shirt sleeve because I believe so strongly in the things that I'm doing, that I'm trying to do in the right way. When I see something like this that happened with Brackett, I do get angry. I get upset. It's just like, not again. I can't believe we're facing this again. And then all the things that we try to do the right way, and then we get called out for being associated with something that's I don't even know where that came from. I don't know why. And at this point, I really don't care anymore.
Right. You know, at this point, but we said our piece. We're done. So we know where we come from. And that goes to whether you use a bow, a crossbow, a longbow, a recurve.
Or like Waddell said,
a gun,
a tank,
or
tank?
Nunchucks. Whatever your method is that's legal,
do it.
Go right ahead.
Yeah.
If spearing is legal,
do it.
And you practice it, go do it.
Exactly.
I'm okay with that.
Yep.
Will I ever do it? Probably not in a hunting situation.
No.
I'd like to throw a spear just to see if I could throw one.
Right.
But it's like, and that's the point that gets us is when things like this happen, you're right. It's that oh no moment, right?
Well, what happens is like the video from Waddell said, the hunting industry, the outdoors as a whole is shrinking. People who are participating in the outdoors. He said, I can't remember the year, it was 2014, 15. It was 13 million tags sold.
2 years ago, that would be 15.
15, there was 2 million tags sold. And a year later,
there was 13 million sold.
13 million.
It's down 2 million now.
It's down 2 million now. So,
and that's not him pulling numbers out of his butt. It's from the Homeland Interiors, I think.
Yeah, Department of Interiors. That's checks tag sales across the United States.
So yeah.
And we're losing people. And instead of losing people and bickering amongst one another, we need to be encouraging people and supporting all forms of hunting and fishing in the outdoors.
Right.
And trapping.
And Tim, I'm going to butcher your last name, Tim. Tim Cias. Good luck on your West Virginia tomorrow. And you're right. No matter the situation, the outdoor industry will always have a bullseye on it.
Tim, I believe, is a Mossy Oak Pro staffer out of West Virginia.
He is.
Good luck to you, Tim.
But you're right. And he's right. But it's like he also called out some not any personalities, but the personalities that want to do it because of their looks.
Right. Yep. Fashion shows.
Yep.
You know. I keep going back to his rant. That 20 minutes. It was just, to me, it was powerful.
It was very good.
It basically made everybody, hunters, trappers, fishermen, campers, hikers, whoever partakes in the outdoors, along with the people who work in the outdoors. He basically called all of us out and said,
"We're a team.
We're on the same team here. Take what's been given to us, cherish it, pass it along to the next generation,
and
take care of it."
And some. The Waddells, the Jordans, you can name all the big hitters, Fitzgeralds. Some have been given more of a platform to be able to be seen more often and talked about.
Yep.
But that doesn't stop a neighbor bringing out another neighbor's to take them out hunting. That it's we're all on the same team.
Yep.
Waddell's platform's a little bit taller than a lot of people. T-Bone, those guys, all those guys have a platform, and they're just hunters.
Yep. But when you put on that platform, you have more responsibility.
And what did he say was he the thing that he hates the most?
The same thing we hate the most
is be called, oh, you're a professional. No, I'm not.
No.
I'm a hunter.
Yeah, we're all hunters.
We're all hunters.
There's no professional hunter, you know. I know that's what they call people over in the guides over in Africa. They're called PHs and professional hunters. But we're talking about here in the United States. We're all hunters, you know. We've been given a platform by you, the listeners, and the people who are watching the live stream. You have given us the platform because you engage with us every week on the show. You know, we've got people on right now watching and commenting.
Right.
Hey, Tammy. Yep, leave it better than you found it. Absolutely. You know, you have given us the opportunity to be able to talk to you every week.
Yep.
And share our experiences and the things and we screw up. You know, we're not perfect. You know, I mean, no, I didn't go out and smoke 2 deer in Indiana like somebody did. But the point is, we're not perfect.
And
we screw up too.
And what he also said was knowing the game laws.
Mm-hmm. And know your game laws.
He had a couple instances where in Kansas, you only take 1 buck.
Yep.
He shot an 8-point, and a bigger one came out 2 seconds after he shot the first one.
Oh,
but
well.
he can't.
Yep.
But if he's in Georgia,
he can.
Where you can shoot 2 bucks, he would have gladly shot 2 of them.
Yep.
So
you got to know the game laws, fly straight, do what's right, and you know, do everything to the best of your ability to do things the right way.
Right.
And represent yourself and the outdoors in a positive light. And really, that's about all I want to say about this.
You know what? And we're going to keep doing what we do.
Yeah. Whether you call us a joke or not, you know. So I do. I hope this person does respond back because I'd like to, for my own sake, I'd just like to know where that whole take comes from. You know.
Right.
I don't need validation from anybody.
Nope.
I just want to know why. I mean,
what was that thrown out there for?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Right.
I don't get it. But so moving along. Deer season. Yeah, it was a tough week, man. We had rain all day opening day. It started raining at 10 o'clock the night before. I got to camp at 9. It started raining at 10, and it poured until after dark the next night.
Really?
Yeah, and
I think you posted a picture of your weather situation, and it was pretty
dreary. Yeah. Well, and then it turned to snow at one day during the week. But I want to say thanks to one of our guys at Camp Joe who give me a ride out every morning on his little UTV.
Okay.
Yeah,
those are great things.
Him and his daughter, they hunt 2 sections behind me.
Okay.
And I was like, would you mind giving me a ride out to my stand or out to my area, please, right. So I can don't have to walk a mile in the
rain
in the storm.
Right, exactly.
Do you sit out all day or do you come in for lunch?
That's a good question.
Does it depend on what's going on?
It really depends on what's going on. So the thought. Okay, so let's talk about yours before we get into mine because mine
3 days.
Okay.
All day, every day. I was in the stand 12 hours. Well, to be truthful, 11 hours and 30 minutes.
Probably 6 to 5:30.
6 to 5:30. Yeah.
Yep.
6 to 5:30. You know, and 2 of the first night actually he picked me up on the trail going back in. I kind of timed that one just about right. Because it was raining.
It was raining, yeah.
But the last 2 nights I walked all the way in because there's a field. We call it our guest field.
Okay.
It's not really anybody's particular area to hunt, but we plan it, and if you want to hunt it, you hunt it. And I walked up on the field right at dark to see if I could see anything. But it was too dark to even shoot. I just wanted to see if I could see some deer.
Okay.
But no, I did. I spent 11 and a half hours in stand 3 days in a row. And the first day I saw 1 deer.
Really?
Yeah, and the only reason I seen it is because I had to actually get up and go outside to use the nearest
facilities?
Little boy's tree, yes. And, you get up in your blind, you look around, you're trying to make sure there's no deer around. Obviously, it was pouring down rain. I'm like, it ain't going to be any deer. I opened the door and then bang, 40 yards behind me, dead behind me was one. And it ran off. That's the only deer I saw that day.
Really?
I did see a skunk. I did see a black squirrel, and that was it.
You did see the skunk?
Yeah, a different one. Yeah, we're covered up in them this year. I don't know what it is.
Matter of fact, that's kind of funny you said that, because outside our cabin, we smelled the skunk, and I'm like, boy.
I posted the video of the one outside the lodge.
Right?
The second night. He was out there right between the lodge and the lake, so he was doing his thing. But, that was first day, so nothing to report. Second day I get out, and sitting in the blind, I got there right around 6 o'clock, and about 6:30, it gets to that point. It's an overcast day, so it's going to break daylight just a little bit later. And I'm looking off to my right, and I got there's that little short chute that runs off my blind on that lower field.
Okay.
And the deer like to cross there because it's not but about 30 yards across that opening to get from one patch of woods to the next. So I'm looking over it, and I'm like, man, there's something dark there moving. So grabbed my binoculars, had my vortex, boom. I could see the deer. It was buck. He had headgear up, and he went behind a tree, and then I started moving just a little bit, trying to pick him up, see where he's going to come out at.
Right.
And got the rifle, couldn't see the crosshairs.
Really?
It was still that dark.
It's still that dark.
But he disappeared. I seen him for maybe 5, 6, 7 seconds. It was pretty quick.
Right. Just identify as a buck with a rack.
Yeah. And he looked like he had some pretty good headgear on him. So he books off. And I seen other deer during the day. There was a doe that did cross the field, and I got to see her for about 20, 30 seconds. She had 2 other ones with her. And I'm like, old doe, do I shoot? Do I not shoot? No rain today. I'm hoping we're going to have a little snow later on. I'm hoping that we get a buck cruising in. I just don't want to shoot one right now.
Okay, yep.
So I let her cruise through, and that's the only shooter doe that I saw those 3 days. Anyway, towards 3 o'clock, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, actually back up a little bit. About 11 o'clock, I said, I'm going to go check trail cams. I was going to talk about this the last show we had, this little card reader. You can see here on the live stream. It's from Wild Game View. I've got Browning cameras, and when I purchased this, I wanted a card reader. I had the Bone View, but I gave it to my dad, and I needed something. So what I did is I got that because now it comes with an app, and actually I put it on my iPad. So now I carry my iPad in my backpack, plug that in, put the card in, download, have them all organized, and I can look at my all my trail cam photos on my iPad.
Cool.
Makes it a lot easier. But this little dude here, it works. It works for the Browns. It works for the Moultrie. It worked for Bushnell cameras. Those are the 3 that I have. Mostly Brownings, but yeah, it works. It's great, and it's got a little ring. I keep my key to my lock for your cameras. Yeah, so it worked really well. So I was gonna go check trail cams, and I did a little walk around, went through the swamp, went over and pulled a camera on a buddy of mine's field that I've been watching for him, and came back. And I got back into the stand probably about an hour and a half later. Just took a nice slow walk.
Slow stroll.
Yeah, slow stalk, just seeing what I could see. And it all of a sudden became a big, huge snow squall come through.
Oh.
And it was wet. It was heavy snow, blowing. You could barely see. And I'm like, this is not good. So I hunkered down next to a pine tree, put my hood up, and just sat and waited, until it got done, got up, and went and got my other camera, got back to the blind. Sat down, and that was probably, 12:30, 1 o'clock. By 2 or 3 o'clock, I'm looking at the far end of the field, and if you remember, I wrapped that field with Border Patrol.
Mm-hmm, yep.
Well, at the far end of the field, it's 175 yards away, and I'm just watching along the line, and the deer have been running behind the Border Patrol. They've been using it as a block to get around the field, and it kind of peek, it makes them come through to peek into the field. All of a sudden, all I see is a big rack running behind the grass. That's all I could see, running behind the grass. Not really running, but trotting behind the grass. You couldn't see to shoot anything. You couldn't see the body. Couldn't.
What a tease.
Yeah, I was just like, really? And I seen 11 deer that day total. So that was day 2. Day 3, I saw 2. One was a buck. He came in at that short end of the field again, stuck his head through the Border Patrol like a kid at a crosswalk, and looks left, looks right, looks left, and turned around and went back in.
Really?
He's looking for does.
Yep, that's exactly what he's doing.
He's a little 4 or 6 point. He wasn't real big, but that was it, man. And I saw a button buck at dark.
That was it.
That was it, man.
Wow.
It wasn't good, man. It rained that whole first day. The wind did blow a lot that second day.
Ugh.
And the snow came down. And then the third day, it was perfect. No wind, cold, no rain. It was cloudy. Sun come out a couple times. And I'm sitting there the whole day just like, okay, anytime. You guys
I cue the deer, right?
Yeah. But I wasn't the only one. Nobody at our camp was seeing deer. I talked to landowners around us. We were on our co-op page, our Facebook page, and we comment back. Nobody else was seeing deer. And nobody was shooting deer. I heard 5 gunshots the first day, 5 the second day, and I think 5 or 6 the third day.
Really?
Just no shooting. I mean,
Jeez.
I don't get it. You talk about putting work in, and all the work we put in this year up there, on my field that I did, and I had my buddy AJ come up and help plant.
Right.
We planted that field twice. Dude, they've decimated our fields. Our fields are just, it's down to dirt. I had grow cages up, so I know we had plant material growing. The deer's still hitting them, and they're walking right down the aisles or the planted rows, and they're just mowing.
So you know they're there because that's not just one deer.
No, and I've got trail cam photos of them, eating on the fields. But
come hunting season, they all went to Florida.
I've got a suspicion. We think we kind of know some of what's going on. Part of it is there are surrounding landowners who do bring bait up.
Yep.
There's been several of them that's been caught. And matter of fact, there was more caught this year that I found out about yesterday.
Okay.
And our camp manager calls it the yo-yo effect. About the middle of September, the 1st of October, they start getting sucked off of the food plots because all the little goodies are put out that they don't normally get.
Right.
And that's what we're battling. So.
And then when those goodies are gone, they come back.
Yeah.
Imagine how that works, right?
So that, and I think going a little nocturnal. Because when I pull cards, I did see more photos at night than I did during the day.
Because you're putting all those people into the woods.
Yep, that's part of it. But actually, we only had five hunters at camp, 5 members at camp this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and there was 4 of them had another person with them, so there was 9 people hunting in the field on 640 acres. And
only 2 does, 4
does by the time I left.
Okay, so 4 does by yesterday.
Yeah, I left after the morning hunt, and I didn't hunt in the morning. Actually, I had a meeting at around the corner for the that wildlife research center that we're working on. So we had a meeting there, talked with a couple other co-ops, and they said the same thing. They're dealing with the same issues. So it's area wide.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
It is. So.
It just goes to show you what a week or from a month ago, or what you seen in September, or what you seen in August.
Right. And you put all the work in. It was frustrating. At the same time, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, how lucky am I? How lucky am I that my dad took and passed this on to me?
Right.
And I've got the opportunity. I've got the opportunity to hunt in a playground, and work the soil and plant trees and do all the things that I do up there and fish and there's people that would love to go hunting, but like Waddell said in his video, they work 60 and 70 hours a week, scraping enough money to put their kids through college or pay the bills, and then hope they can get a weekend off to go hunting.
Or you're trying to raise a family and make sure that the family gets to the practices or to the events they need to get to, because you're working all those hours and you're trying to divvy up time, and then the time for the outdoors gets there. It's but hours.
Yeah. Well, and it goes back to, it's like I don't need to kill deer to validate myself. I get enjoyment out of working the soil. I get enjoyment out of, working through problems we've got at camp and figuring things out and trying to make it better for my kids, my grandkids. I've not shot a ton of deer in my life. I shot enough to be happy.
Right. Exactly. And then you're at a point where if you see somebody else get one,
hey, it's cool.
That's yes, absolutely.
And that's no joke. We're going to step outside, take our next break. We'll be right back after this.
So what do you do when you've completely redefined the way bows are engineered? When you've reached the pinnacle and the band starts playing your victory song, you start a revolution out of thin air. Introducing the all-new PSE Carbon Air, engineered with true carbon technology to be the lightest high-performance bow in the world. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Third segment of the show.
Talking deer hunting.
Still got the fur going on. I haven't shaved yet either.
No shave November, remember?
I shaved before I went up.
You did. You shaved it. You freaking shaved your head, dude.
Yeah, I did. Oh, yeah.
You still got it? Wow, It's coming back.
Yeah, it's growing back. I had enough, man. I couldn't take it no more. It's driving me nuts.
There you go.
During bow season when I was up there, and I had had all my scent gear on, sitting in a tree stand, and everything was tight. It's like my head itched. The hair was too long, so I cut it off, man. Had enough.
I get it. Oh, yeah, you are correct about Charles.
Hopefully, you guys are shooting some big deer down there this year. So
what else went on at your camp?
What else went on at my camp? We had a skunk that came up close. That was excitement for night 2. So that was good. I spent all day out there, man, and I came in, I eat dinner, I sat up around and talked with people for maybe half hour, and then I went to bed, and slept because I was up at 4:45 every morning.
Right?
Getting ready.
I tell you, 8:30, 9 o'clock comes along, and it's like, ooh, yeah, that bed's looking really good.
Yeah, I didn't get tired out there per se, staying out all day.
It's mental.
I had a lunch with me, and I had snacks, and how I am about coffee.
Yes.
I leave the house. I get to work. I'm working. This is Tuesday night, and I'm leaving work 3 hours early so I can get to camp, so I don't wake everybody up.
Right.
I want to get to camp by 9 o'clock, which I made it. So I'm at work, and I'm like, I forgot my thermos.
Uh-oh.
I got that Cabela's bullet thermos that I bought last year. Take coffee with me into the woods.
Right.
And I'm like, so I call my wife. Hey, Shannon, what are you doing? Yeah, okay. Hey, could you look for something for me and bring it up or meet me halfway so I have to come all the way home? And she's like, no, I'm working. I can't. I'm like, okay. So I think to myself, I can stop at Cabela's on the way up north. So I stopped at Saginaw Cabela's.
Oh, yes.
And you want to talk about hard to find? They didn't have a lot of thermoses, but they did have the same one that I have here at home.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So, yeah, I bought, so now I got 2.
Now you got 2.
So, yeah, I had my coffee.
There you go. Now you're good.
Yeah, and I spaced it out. I had my lunch at noon, and then, I'd eat breakfast and be out the door by 6 and get to UTV. I'd literally in the blind by 6:05.
Right.
Every morning. And then at 8 o'clock, I'd eat a snack. 10 o'clock, I'd eat a snack. I'd eat lunch at noon, eat a snack at 2, eat a snack at 4, and then 5:30.
You're heading back because dinner will be
dinner.
on.
Yeah, and it worked out really good. I mean,
you know what? If you
low impact.
Yeah, if you pace yourself and you stretch it out and you're having the right snacks, you're good.
Yeah, I had trail mix and granola bar for snacks, and I had the coffee, and it all worked out good. The only issues I had was the third day in the blind. It's cold. I'll light the heater a little bit and tickle the heat on. And
right.
I usually sit with at least a window cracked or open. Just to get fresh air in. But the third day, I started feeling really nauseous and sick to my stomach. And I was like, man, that's just weird, because I'd run the heater a little more. It was a little chillier that day. Opened 2 windows and, leaned over, got a good breath of fresh air and turned the heater off. And I felt better. So, you know what? Carbon monoxide poisoning, folks, is no joke.
No, it's not. Not at all.
My blinds are not airtight. And I'm telling you, man, I felt it.
Right, exactly. No, that is no joke. That starts coming on, man. You look good thing you realize that and open some windows up.
But yeah, other than that, I did play on my phone. Oh, hang on. Where's it at? I got to show you guys something. Hang on.
Right. So we'll let Mike slip over there in his chair and he'll come back because he was playing on his phone while hunting.
I did stop Monday. Monday I bought this. It looks like a cell phone. It's a battery.
Yes.
It's a portable battery. It's an extended life battery, and it's 10,000 milliamps. I thought the little ones I got, they might charge my phone about 3/4 of the way.
Okay.
I've heard that these will give you 3 or 4 charges, full charges.
Okay.
So I had this. I had my phone plugged in. I had internet. I didn't sit on the phone all day, but this did help pass the time. Being able to charge your phone.
Back in the day, you'd grab a magazine or something. You'd be out there thumbing through magazines.
One of the guys reads a book.
If you read the book. Now, if you got internet service, you can do the internet.
Well, the thing that I really enjoyed with that is I was keeping track of wind conditions.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Storms that were rolling in. I knew what was coming. I mean, you just kind of get mentally prepared for what's coming that day, as you're out there.
Right, and that's the thing. Where I was sitting, my cell service was nil to none.
Okay.
So I could get out a text, and that's probably about my extent of it.
Okay.
So, but you had that. That's cool. That's a good deal.
So yeah, 2 little gadgets. I mean, I paid this card reader was the Android's $20. The iPhone is $30.
Okay.
You know, it is a little more, or maybe 40, 30 or 40. I can't remember. But I'm telling you, with my iPad, that is the way to check.
Golden, eh?
Way to check trail cams with cards. And then this little gizmo, the battery deal here, I got that at Menards for $15.
Okay.
You know, and it works great.
Absolutely. I had one of those too that I was running with my phone as well.
So took some pictures, took some video, you know, with my phone. Didn't take my regular camera in the field. This year I've kind of felt what you and I do with video should be about setup and maybe after the fact. The hunt is it's too dang cumbersome and too dang hard to really sit and try to run a camera and hunt at the same time.
It's very tough.
You know, turkey season would be a little different story, but with deer hunting, I did it in the tree stand because I had the camera arm, made it a little more self-contained. But if you're in a box blind and you're tight anyway, setting up a tripod and a camera just doesn't work.
Yeah,
and then trying to swing a rifle.
It gets tight, especially when the deer doesn't want to cooperate.
Right on. So. And I had some friends visit me.
Did you?
Yeah. The third day, the mice showed back up.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. One ran across my boot.
Sweet. Did you give him some granola?
No, I didn't give him nothing. No, I didn't feed him.
Come on, what kind of conservation are you? You're supposed to help the wildlife.
Yeah, well, I planted a whole field. They can go out and eat. So.
Tell you.
So, yeah, that's really about it. There's nothing exciting, nothing earth-shattering. You know, yesterday I stopped for 2-3 hours over at Allband, and we gathered and talked about the Wildlife and Research Center that we're trying to get up and running, and co-ops, and I met a few new people, so it was good.
There you go. Meeting new people is always good.
Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't get a deer. I was disgruntled about it.
But you're not done yet, though.
But I'm not done. No, we're going to go back up the second week of December, long weekend, and do some muzzleloading hunting. Hopefully you're going to go with us if you can. And we'll have a buck tag to fill at that point. So anything's legal game for me to shoot.
Right.
And we'll see what happens. You know, we're bringing up 4 kids from Indiana. There's a youth mentor camp down there that teaches them about the outdoors.
Correct.
And they're chosen amongst their peers, 4 of them every year. And their reward is to be brought up here and get to hunt out of state in Michigan. They come up to our camp.
That's awesome.
So
awesome.
Sharing the love of the outdoors with other people. So what was the? Wait a minute. I already know the excitement at your camp. It was when you arrived.
Yeah. All right.
This is good. This might take another show.
Well, we'll try to. No, we'll talk about it because I tell you what they.
You're not the only person it happened to. It happened to the cabin across the lake from us, too.
I had this conversation with my cousin. We talked about this. I'm like, oh, no problem. All right. So we left on Saturday.
Okay.
And a cold snap went through on Thursday.
It was cold. Cold.
It was cold.
It got down 4. Up there at single digits.
Yeah, it was single.
It was 14, 15 degrees here in the southern part of the state.
Well, it was single digits up there.
Okay.
And we 3 of them were already up there at one of the camps, and we said, "Hey, can you do us a favor? Run down to the camp and light a fire."
Okay.
It'd be nice to walk into a warm cabin. That'd be kind of cool,
right?
So we met him on the road. Yep, we got a fire going for you. Everything's good. All right, we go in. We walk in. All right, fire's going. Good. Let's get the water up and running. Typically, we shut the pump off, the water heater off, and the electric. But the electric was already on. Fire's going.
Do you drain the lines?
No. So we go over, hit the pump, nothing. It actually just vibrated. It didn't even vibrate. It hummed.
Okay.
Oh, that's pretty odd.
Okay.
So I'm looking at the breaker. Nope, breaker's good. Look, man, what the heck is going on? And all of a sudden I hear my cousin go, "Well, that's not good."
Uh-oh.
And I said, "What?" And we looked at the pump, which was a steel-housed pump. Mm-hmm. Had a big old crack in it.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's not good at all.
No, because you're not going to be pumping water with the cracked.
Right. So I was like, all right. And then we looked, and we have a water filter, one of those in and out with the it hangs down filter.
Oh, the cartridge on it?
Yeah, with the cartridge. That was busted in half.
Okay.
It was a solid brick of ice.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, no, this ain't going to be good.
Yeah.
So then I said, well, it was, we got up there probably about 2 o'clock. Said, we got to go to town and get a pump.
and lines and everything.
Well, we didn't know that yet.
Okay.
So we run to town, and we started. We start with the pump. This fitting shot is shattered. Mm-hmm. This fitting shot shattered. So we started. We started with the pump. We started working the lines, and we started. We got the new pump to work. It was sucking air. It was like, okay, so there's another go look. One pipe just literally 8-foot section just shattered.
Okay.
Splintered, actually.
Is it plastic?
It was PVC.
PVC? Okay.
It was like, oh, man. So we basically chased all the piping back to the hot water tank, hot water back, and it took us...
Was the water heater okay?
The water heater is okay.
Okay.
And the only reason we think that was okay is because that's insulated water heater.
Right.
We were worried. We were just like, this is not going to be good. So 12 hours later, 6 hours that evening till about midnight, and I said, let's just stop right now before we get loopy.
Get some sleep.
We'll wake up, and we had to run into town, get some more fittings, and finish what we started. About 12 hours later, we actually got water, and a new pipe didn't bust. We had a couple leaks, but it was holding water.
Okay.
Like we could hear dripping, and I was like, okay. So that was that. We got water going. We attacked the toilet. Fitting was leaking. We ended up replacing the innards to the toilet, and we had something behind the shower we had to go into the wall to get and fix. Took us 3 times to get that fixed, but we got it.
So you're a plumber now.
Yeah, I hate water. I'd rather stick my finger in an electrical outlet. But my cousin was measuring and gluing, and I was measuring and cutting. We're just, okay. What do you need? Okay, and we got it done. So that left us Sunday afternoon to finally get our blinds out and let's go set up. Let's get out of here, go set up. We got water. Good enough. Nothing's blown. Let's go set up our blinds, get everything set out. And we did that. We split up, and I said, okay, I'll go do my blind, you go do your blind. We split up, we go do that. We didn't even hunt Sunday. We were buttoning up cabin. So Monday, actually go back to Sunday night, my cousin, to go make a phone call, went out to the road. Mm-hmm. And he comes back, he goes, you got to look at this. And he showed me a picture of a buck on his phone. What's that? He goes, he was coming back down the trail, and literally this buck standing in the middle of the road.
Looking at
him. And he's like, okay, you going to move? And he's not moving. All of a sudden, it walks towards him, crosses the bridge that we have, and basically just walks right by his truck. If he would have stepped on the gas, he could have hit it with the mirror. And it just walked off. I said, wow. Later that night, we were sitting there in the yard. We could see, and all of a sudden, he came walking through. So that's him. You could see the rack, and that was pretty cool. I said, all right. Get some sleep, because we were pretty tired. Monday morning, we used crossbows. So I was out there, got in my blind. We're allowed to bait. So we put out some bait. I put out my bait. And basically, at this point, it's like a dinner bell. So basically, you take the bucket, you walk to the spot. They're waiting for you. And you
they got a bib on, got the knife and fork.
I kid you not. From here to that door away, they'll wait, and then you just dump it and turn around and start walking, and you can listen. They'll follow you.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I sat down, and I had a deer immediately. I had a spike in, some does. I had 3 deer in, and then all of a sudden, I was shooting the crossbow, and I had a little open window to my left. And the doe picks her heads up and looks that way. And I got scared because all of a sudden I heard this thrashing of a bush. And I said, whoa, wait a second. That's not a doe.
Right.
So I leaned forward, and here's this 8-point just thrashing a bush. And he's standing up looking. And I'm like, oh, that's him. So I get ready. I got the crossbow up, and he's going to walk through either one window opening or get to the other one. Well, he starts quartering away. I said, oh, no, you don't. So I let it fly. I put it into the to his side, and I hate to say it, but that is a great sound when you hear that
thwack.
Mm-hmm. And it was loud because he was by about, if he was 15 yards, that was probably the max. Maybe I'd say 20 at the most.
Okay. And
it hit him hard, and he took off tail down. He ran through a tree. The snow came off the tree, and then he went into the swamp. It's like, all right, cool. So I waited. I said, all right, enough of that waiting. I gotta go find some blood. and I found a blood. I went, and it's okay, he's around here. He ran through this tree. I kind of looped around the tree, and I found a speck of blood. And I was just about to the edge of the swamp, and I looked down, and he had made it to the bottom of the hill, and that's where he was. It was 30 yards.
All right.
So he's laying there, and I'm like, yes. So I texted my cousin. I said, big buck down. He goes, well, you want to get it now? I said, you know what? No, I'll take care of it. We'll get him at breakfast. Because usually for bow, we just hunt like a morning hunt, take care of business, and then get back out for an evening.
Okay.
So I got my knife, got my license, tagged him. Then I gutted him. I ended up catching him in the back and then putting it up into the front shoulder.
Okay.
So I was using the T3s.
Okay.
And those things are nice. You can go, like I said, 30 yards. And I was using the Black Eagle Executioner bolts.
Bolts. Okay.
And I walked up to him, and I see the arrow sticking out of him, and I slide it out. I slide it out, and I'm missing the front end.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, so
It's
now
inside.
I've got a broadhead in here somewhere.
Uh-huh.
So I said, oh, I'm going to take my time with this one. And
Right.
literally I did. I started from the middle and worked back, got all taken care of. I was like, okay, and I haven't gotten into anything yet. And then I started up. I could feel in his rib where I think it got to the wall, but it didn't go through.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I pulled out the lungs, pulled out the heart, and I'm looking, and I'm like, I can't find this broadhead. Mm-hmm. And I'm like tiptoeing through,
Right.
because I don't want to grab it. And I never did find it.
You didn't?
No, I don't know where it's at. I looked in the lungs, I looked in the heart. I clipped the top lung going through. I'm like, So unless it got lodged up into his neck.
Right.
But when I was up there cutting the windpipe, I didn't feel it. So stay tuned.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, did you process that deer yourself, or did you
No.
drop it off?
I dropped it off at our local place up the street.
Yeah, he might find it for you.
Yeah, he might. I'll probably hear about it. So that was Monday morning, 7:30.
Okay.
That was quite nice surprise to have that quickly happen, and gave me that ample time to be by myself with it and take care. I just took my time,
Did your thing.
did my thing, let the other guys hunt, and then at breakfast he came out, took the UTV, drove into the woods, and threw him in the back and brought him out and went and hung him. So that was cool.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's take our last break, come back. I want to hear about the rest of your week.
Yep.
So we'll step outside. We'll be right back after this, folks.
I shoot PSE because I like one pin to 40 yards.
I shoot PSE for the perfect combination of feel and performance.
I shoot PSE because you can shoot lighter poundage and increase arrow speed.
I shoot PSE for the fastest bows on the planet. I shoot PSE because my livelihood depends on my bow.
I shoot PSE because better engineering makes a better bow.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE. I shoot PSE.
Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Three, two, and one. Welcome back. Last segment of the show. 8-pointer on the ground. Shot him with a crossbow, the PSE crossbow.
The Fang.
And now you're getting set up for rifle season, which opens on Wednesday. Or did you continue to hunt?
I continued to hunt.
Okay.
Because I had a combo tag.
Okay.
So I went back out. I was sitting in the blind that I shot the 8-point with. Mm-hmm. And my cousin says, why don't you go move over there? I said, you know what? I'm going to stick it out. I'm going to see what's going on here. And I was sitting there, and I'm kind of reassessing how I'm looking.
Right.
I'm like, well, I think I wanted to swing 90 degrees.
Okay.
Okay. So it's the 14th, the afternoon. Mm-hmm. And I'm like,
do it.
I'm just going to do it. And then I got a deer in, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, this is going to be fun. So I pull up the stakes, and I literally pick up my blind and rotate, because I want the 2 slider windows from that blind in front.
Right.
So I literally pick it up and rotate it 90 degrees. Bring it back down, I look, Yeah, and they're still there.
Does are still there.
They didn't care. They're looking at me like, what are you doing?
Right.
They didn't care till I got out of the blind, but then they didn't care anyways because I walked the other way.
Okay.
So I got that all set up for opening morning. We didn't see much activity. We seen deer. We were seeing deer. We were seeing small bucks. We seen spikes, 3 points. We saw a 5 point. So then got to bed nice and early. And then opening morning, started off seeing deer, like I said. And about 8:30, there was some shooting going on. There was not many shots. In the UP, you usually don't. It's just how close they are.
Right.
And my cousin Brian texted me, and he goes, well, who's shooting? Because we heard a shot. And I said, I don't know. It sounds like it's coming from this direction. And it couldn't have been 5 minutes later. I hear a gunshot. I went, wait a second. That was him. So I texted him. I said, was that you? He said, yes, sir. He got a shot at 6 point.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right. Look at my watch. I said, well, what do you want to do? I said, you want to take care of it right now? Or, we'll wait. He goes, let's take care of it right now. Just get it done and over with. We'll get out of the woods, get the deer out of the woods. We'll go hang it, and we'll get back in. I said, okay. So I met him back at the cabin. We lightened up our load, drove out there, picked up the deer, and then we gutted it at a different spot, and we put a camera over it.
Okay.
And we were trying to get coyotes or wolves on it.
I got you.
Only thing we got on that was
ravens.
Ravens.
I was gonna say ravens.
Yeah, they were which surprised us actually.
Yeah.
So by 9:30, 10 o'clock opening morning, he had a 6 point. We had it hanging in the barn. So, all right, let's get back out there. Now, like I talked before earlier, Dan, who was hunting, I texted and said, hey, you want to move that blind? Let's move it now. Okay. So I put on my orange and I went off and I helped him move his blind, sitting there. Okay, so I'm moving his blind 50 yards deeper into thicker cover, kind of to hide the blind a little bit better. I grab a chair and a bucket and I start walking, and I look back and he's breaking down the blind. It was the doghouse, the big round circle.
Okay, yep.
I said, just break it down to that and just carry it through the woods. You only need 50 yards. So I'm at the spot where I want him to come. I look back, and here comes a spike. Real tall spike comes walking right between us. Just walking right between us.
Your deer up there are not scared of you guys.
Okay. And all of a sudden I whistle. And all of a sudden Dan looks, and he turns around and just walks back. So, okay. So now Dan brings the blind over to us. We get everything over. All of a sudden we're standing there, and a doe comes in. Right behind him is that spike. And the doe goes exactly where I said, we're going to put the bait over there. That's the spot we use. And this doe is standing there looking at us. And the spike's off to our left. Really? So he's setting up the blind. He's going to put a camera up. I grab the bucket and I start walking towards this doe.
Gonna feed her out of the pail?
Dude, I kid you not. I went to the spot. She moved off about 15 yards. I threw an apple at her. She went after the apple. And we dumped it. He put up the camera. We walked back, which was probably about 40 yards to the blind. She just comes moseying on in. So he did not. He had a picture of a 6 point that he took with his phone.
Okay.
He couldn't shoot it with his bow, but he got a phone picture with it. So he was watching that. I said, okay. So that's the deer he was after, really after. So that was opening day. We had a 6 point on the ground till in the morning. And I helped move a blind. I said, okay, you're ready to go. See you later. So I head back. I put on the rest of my gear, and I go sit down probably about 1 o'clock. And so I sat down, and deer started coming in right away. And I'm like, okay. Well, now I'm facing a new direction. So I'm kind of thinking, okay, the bucks are going to come. And for some reason, 2 o'clock, I'm looking. All of a sudden, the deer kind of acting weird. This doe comes flying through. I'm like, wow. I look, and all of a sudden, I could see a rat coming through. But I for some reason, I thought it was a spike. But then I saw the forks, and I'm like, wait, whoa. So I grabbed the binoculars. I put it up in one window, and I count 4 on one side. I saw the broad tines. That's what I was looking for. I said, oh, whoa, hold on. I can shoot this one.
Right.
So I put those down, grab my gun, and I swing my gun up through the window, and I look, and I see this deer standing there that's a doe. And he's behind her. I'm like, oh, man. Move. I'm like, okay, come on, dude. You got to move a little to the right. And he moved a little bit, and I shot. And he stood there. I'm like, looking through the scope, and I said, I think I hit him. He was quartering away again. Another quartering away shot. I said, man, what the heck did I do? I said, all right. I shot him again. Well, this time I hit him, and he just dropped. I said, okay. Text my cousin. I got another one. He goes, what'd you get? I said, it's either a 7 or an 8. So I went over there, and he was laying there, and it was an 8-pointer, smaller than my first one. And I said, he goes, what do you want to do? I said, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. We'll pick him up at night. And I shot him in the first shot. I shot him in the shoulder. I broke his shoulder, but I don't think I went into the cavity because it looks like an exit wound on the front side of the shoulder because his leg is broken when I'm gutting him. I'm like, wow. Well, the second shot I put in the back of his neck, and that was the end of that. So by the end of the first day, we had 2 bucks down, and I was tagged out. So I was quite ecstatic.
Tagged out. That's got to feel good.
Yes, it does feel good. And we got him hanging in the barn, and it felt good. It did. It was like, really?
That's 4 deer off your property this year.
Yes.
Kelly's, your 2, and your cousin's.
Yep. 2 6s and 2 8s.
That's nice.
It felt really good, and that whole how that second one happened so quickly was just. And then my cousin, I literally got back to my blind after going to see him, getting back, and he texted me, and he says, "Dat you?" I said, "Yes, sir." And because we can tell when we shoot, it's just you know where they're positioned, right?
Yep.
And my shots came close together, so he knew that was a semi-auto.
Yep.
Because Dan was using a lever action. And I said, yeah, that was me. I was okay, cool. So he got back at dark and then lightened up, went and got him in the dark through the woods. Now, here I am gutting this deer, right? Mm-hmm. There's a deer watching me. It was great. I look up, there's a doe watching me. I'm gutting.
I remember the first deer I ever killed. I was 17, hunting up Wolverine, Michigan, up in Otsego County. And it was run with a big bull elk. And back then you couldn't hunt elk. Elk weren't scared of you. And after I shot that deer, that elk stayed there and hung around as I'm gutting it out, looking at me. I had to actually take cover behind a tree a little bit there because he started pawing around and shaking his antlers. Yeah. That kind of freaked me out. I mean, 17-year-old kid, that's the first elk I'd ever seen in the wild. And, here he is. He's all ticked off because I shot his little buddy,
Yeah, you did.
So, yeah, that's that one right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Back a couple moons ago.
Yeah. So that was end of opening night, and the weather was Monday, Tuesday was snow ground but foggy.
Yeah.
Then it got windy on opening night. When me and my cousin went out on Thursday, I went and sat with him. I took the camera. I was going to go sit with him. We had to go find his blind.
Really? Blew away?
Yeah, it blew away.
Did you find it?
Yes, it was about 40 yards east.
Yeah, it blew hard. That was Thursday, right?
Yeah, that was Thursday. And I'm like, okay. So then I said, so we hunted Thursday to dark. And then Friday, I said, he's going to hunt the morning. I'm going to sleep in, and then I'll go pack in my blind. Well, my blind was MIA kind of as well, but it got caught into a couple trees.
Oh, nice.
So it didn't go far. But, then the snow started falling, and it was actually Friday would have been an awesome. He was seeing a lot of action.
Yeah.
Friday morning, but he was only hunting till the morning, and then we're going to start going through and doing our cleanup and
getting out of camp.
Yep, getting ready to leave on Saturday morning. So we packed up the trailer, went down, got the deer, and we were ready to go. But
Thursday it blew hard. I remember I heard a limb crack. I mean, sitting in the blind, and then I heard it crash, and I heard the big boom when it hit the ground. And it startled you. It's like, man, I'm glad it didn't hit the top of the hut,
right?
But I'm looking around. I couldn't find it. But I did look at the far end of the field, and it looked like a freshly broken off tree.
Yeah.
This big around.
Oh, jeez.
And I don't know if that was it or not. I don't remember seeing it there, but it was near a trail cam. So when I go check that trail cam, it'd be interesting to see if I see anything.
Oh, yeah.
In there, you never know.
Nice.
They're supposed to be triggered by animals' body temperature, the heat signature, but who knows? I've got false triggers before, so.
Right, exactly. So, and then coming home Saturday.
Oh, it was a whiteout around Mayo.
Well, I hit Gaylord, and from Gaylord down, it was between a whiteout to rain to whiteout to. By the time we got underneath Saginaw, it was all rain.
Yeah, that's the same.
But it was just like coming down.
I headed home about 2 o'clock, and as I got, about a half hour south, couldn't see. The road was completely covered with snow. It was coming down. That's the first time I drove the Jeep in the snow, so I was, kind of tenderfooting it a little bit, checking it out, making sure I was okay.
Right, and that we were bringing home a trailer, so it was like, okay, we were watching the temperature on the truck, and it went from like 39 down to 33, went back up. I was like, geez, oh, Pete.
Well, it sounds like you had a good season.
Yeah, we did. It was good, and we're hoping for some more luck. There's 3 left at camp till the weekend, so we'll see how they do.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens at our camp this week. As the hours clicked off, as I was sitting staring, somebody said, "Well, how'd you do today?" I said, "Well, I stared the bark right off trees."
There you go.
You're just sitting there glued, and you're doing this back and forth for 12 hours. My neck got sore. But
that's it, because you don't know. And like the second 8 point, it happened so quickly.
Yeah, they just bang.
It was like, whoa, here, get ready and shoot. And I thought about that. The moment I saw him, recognized I could shoot him, got the gun and shot twice, and
probably less than 10 seconds.
It was all over, and I'm like, wow,
that happened quick. Yeah. All the 3 bigger bucks that I saw were all probably less than 10 seconds. Probably actually more like 5.
Right, exactly.
It's just, okay, there's antlers. Okay, they're gone.
And you're sitting out there, like you just said, hours on end, waiting for something that's going to happen in seconds.
Happen. Yeah.
To this day, we for the hours you put in,
did a lot of thinking.
Got a little time on your hands while you're out there.
Yeah, like I said, I was upset because I wasn't seeing a lot. No action and no success. But then again, then you feel blessed for being able to get out and spend time in the outdoors. I did a lot of thinking about looking ahead to next year of stand placements.
So we'll let Mike run over to the phone real quick and see what happens. We should be okay.
It'll come back on.
Yeah, it will. Broadcast interrupted.
And we're back on.
All right.
My dad has still not learned what time we do our show.
Dad.
But looking ahead at next year for stand placements, I'm already thinking about, where I'm going to move and how I'm going to hunt differently.
Okay.
Concentrate on certain areas and movement. And a lot of it had to do with the logging stuff. I think, and you got to remember, I've moved into this area. This is only my second full season hunting this section of the property. And I'm still trying to figure it out. And
then that was a true statement for us as well, because we just had it logged this year.
Yeah, same for you.
So it was like, okay, where are these deer going to be moving?
Right.
My cousin Brian shifted his spot, and it paid off. It kind of figured out watching the edges.
Yeah.
He was actually in the field watching the edge of the field, watching the edge of the woods.
Yeah.
For me, my spot really didn't change over there because it's more of a funnel along the edge of the swamp.
Yeah.
Daniel's spot over there was kind of the same thing. Where are these deer going to change to a little bit? So, but like you said, that's the second year for you. This is the first year coming off the logging project. Probably it's going to change again next year a little bit.
Well, and the other thing that's changed for me, it's changed over the years. The fact that last year and this year, I hunted by myself. For all intents and purposes. Now, during bow season, my dad did come up. He got out in the field with me and helped me hang a tree stand. He actually set out for one evening,
right?
To hang out. But he wasn't sitting in the blind with me or in my tree stand. He was sitting in their stand.
Right.
But to be able to have that camaraderie, and I like spending time with the guys at camp. The people that we associate with up there. But when you're the only person in camp and out of your family or your group, you don't have, like you, if you come up or any of the other guys that I associate with here more frequently or family members, it's just, it's not the same. And since my dad left 7 years ago, so this was my 8th opening day that I haven't hunted with my dad.
Right.
And it gets to me,
Okay.
It's a little, like I said, when you're sitting in a blind 3 days for 12 hours, you got everything
staring the bark off the trees.
Yeah, you got everything from thinking about what we're going to talk about on the podcast to wondering what your kids are doing in school to wondering if they're going to get home safely, or hey, I got bills I got to pay when I get home. We're thinking about next year,
right?
Meeting with people, figuring out what our schedule is going to be, and then you think, man, I don't know how Dad's doing. I wonder what he's up to today. And those things, when they start playing through your mind, I mean, all of a sudden, yeah, you're staring into the field, but then you kind of come to and it's like, oh, hey, there's a deer.
Right.
And you look at your watch and a half hour's passed.
There's a lot of thinking going on.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of soul searching and reflecting done this year in the blind for me.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's good, bad, or indifferent. It's just
that's what it was.
It's just something that I did a lot of reflecting back on things and thinking ahead about things, and thinking about how I'm going to set that hunting area up for next year, and things I want to do with the kids, and getting my grandson up there in a couple of years. Probably about 4 years actually by the time he's old enough to even get in the woods, but. Yeah, it's, I don't know. I guess that it's not a midlife crisis, but I'm at that point in my life where I'm looking at retirement. I'm looking, how many more times am I going to get to hunt?
Right.
And quit complaining about not seeing anything, because you're out there and you don't know when that's going to be the last time you get to hunt. We're not promised tomorrow, man.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
It's, the one day, opener, the 14th, I sat out there all afternoon and I had deer basically from the moment I walked out there, and they were there from the moment I sat down, actually before I got to the blind, and till dark. And you sit there and you're watching deer, trying to look, because things happen really quick. And then, but then you look and go, wow, that was a quick half hour. So it was like, wow. So definitely you got some time out there to do reflecting.
Yep, absolutely. It's a good time to kind of, when things are slow, maybe to check yourself a little bit.
A little soul searching?
Yeah. So
absolutely. There's no better time. Now, when me and my cousin were sitting together, it was kind of fun, but when you're by yourself and you're first of all, you're running through what you're going to do, but then it's like you sit back and you kind of check things off the checklist of what's going on.
Yep. It gives you time to see where you're at in life, so to speak.
Right.
So, and this is a good week coming up here, Thanksgiving this week. Be thankful for the things we've got and the people we got around us and the things we're able to do.
And on Thursday, a day of Thanksgiving, be thankful for being able to get out in the woods, being able to hunt, whether you get out there, you can walk out there, or you're helped out there with a wheelchair, or just being able to get out there and hunt, and or fish for that matter. There's a lot of people fishing this time of year as well.
Right.
So definitely be thankful on Thanksgiving. And then Friday morning you can go
taking the boys out. Yep.
Shopping, right?
No, not going shopping. No. Going to go play some disc golf with the kids.
There you go.
No, thankful on one day, and then the next day you turn around and you go buy stuff on sale and kill people trying to get to it.
Like I said,
two opposite extremes.
Deb did that once and once only. And I watched her get up bright and early, wave goodbye to her, and I don't think it was an hour later she was back home all mad that they were sold out, whatever they had. She climbed into bed and she's never done it again.
Yeah, right on.
So,
all right, that's all I got this week, man.
Yeah, you know what? For everybody out there that's listening on Monday, have a happy Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
And how about we see him next week?
Next week, absolutely. And go over and check out the Facebook rant with Michael Waddell. I'm telling you, it gives you a whole new perspective on the outdoors and hunting and how we view it and how we partake in it.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It's a good time. So, all right, y'all take care. That'll do it for us this week, folks. This episode was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Wind Scent Vapor Hunting Scents,
Killer Food Plot Seeds, Attractants, and Supplements,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Antler Action,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
and Badass Slingshots.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.